congratulations on the Ed Block Courage Award. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the awards that you really don't want to win.
Sure.
But I think anytime you win an award that's voted on by your teammates is a special thing. So uh, I'm grateful that the NFL that they do things like this, because the reality of it is this game is riddled with injuries, and it's a hard thing. It's a challenging thing to overcome and work through. So I'm grateful that they do that, and there's a lot of people that go through things like this, and glad that they recognize that.
So when it comes down to going into this game up against Miami, looking at the kind of different usages that you've seen over the course of the past couple of weeks, especially last week, like, which kind of stands out to you about Miami's defense and how you might be utilized against that?
Yeah, I mean they're a good defense. It's I think they're aggressive defense up front, and as far as my role, this week, I think so much of that is dictated by situations. What type of game does this end up being? And I think the thing that I have had to realize throughout my career is that you do your best to prepare yourself, certainly for the things that you're going to be asked to do, but be ready and prepared to step in when you're needed. So and last week was a great example of that.
Is that a kind of a tricky thing to manage? Like, going from being maybe in a place at one point to where you knew this is what my responsibility is, this is what I'm doing, and then now kind of it being something that
Yeah,
changes.
yeah, it is tricky. Look, I think because I am moving around so much, it does require me to be very detailed in how I prep for games, and what I'm paying attention to, what I'm looking at. So I really become hyper focused on what I know I'm going to be asked to do, and then if something comes up, I think that I do my best in those situations to help out where I'm needed. But I don't want to start chasing ghosts. You know what I mean? As you go throughout the week, because it's a demanding league, and you know the variables that I'm dealing with are enough. That I become hyper focused on those things.
How does I guess last week's situation? Um, how does it affect the game plan and the play calling, specifically from Kellen Moore? I mean, and how do you think he handled that?
Yeah, I think that I, I think what you try to do is not allow those things to affect the game plan. So as you get to the sideline, what are things that maybe I've done in the past? What are things that I'm more comfortable doing that are already in the game plan? And that's kind of what we become focused on. And then as far as you know how Kellen handled that, I thought he handled it really well. There's some things that I just have more time on task doing, and that's kind of what we were focused on. And then there were some situations that I'd never been in before, but just throughout the nature of the drive, and Dev needed a breather and stuff, that um, things are in the game plan for a reason. So you can't stray too far from those things. And I thought Kellen managed it really well. I thought JT managed it really well in getting me prepared on the sideline, and I thought we did a good job.
Does your the position groups that you work with throughout the week and things like that in practice, does that shift on a week to week basis, or is that consistent?
I mean, from a meeting room standpoint, that doesn't change. And then I would say that who I work with from week to week uh, does change. So if I'm doing more from a receiver standpoint, then I work more with the receivers coach, and more of the passing game guys. If it's more in a run game, then it's definitely more with the run game guys, or JT, or from a blocking scheme, the O line guys. So that does change quite a bit periodically from week to week, but meeting room is always been with the QBs.